What's up, guys? Welcome to the Tristcast. Before we get into this week's episode, I invite you to follow the Tristcast and leave a rating. Peace. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to the Tristcast. I am your host, Tristonderieux, and I invite you to sit back, relax, catch a vibe, and enjoy the show. How's it going, everyone? Welcome back. Before we get into this week's episode, I just want to say thank you all for your love and support. And if you have any suggestions whatsoever that you would like to hear on next week's episode, please leave a comment with that suggestion and maybe it'll be on next week's episode. All right, guys, peace out. I'll see you in today's episode. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back. It's a beautiful day. Before we get into it, I just want to do what's been happening in the last couple videos. I want to keep it going, keep this a normal thing. So let's all just be grateful for being alive today, for another opportunity to experience life and experience everything it has to offer. Been starting my mornings with that so much lately, as I've been saying, and it really helps. It changes the perspective and it activates something in me that automatically is just ready to get on and get started and get creating. And I've been on the topic of creating. I've had this painting that I've been working on for like a month now, and I'm finally adding touches to it that I actually like. And I'm getting more used to the style that I'm going for. And I'm very happy, and I'm just looking forward to completing more goals that I set for myself this same week. I set a bunch of goals for myself this week, and I've gotten through most of them, probably more than half of them, and I'm so grateful for that because I was able to get myself in a routine that made me feel very inspired, motivated, and always getting to that point in my day like I'm trying to. It's like this thing within me when I'm able to get all the stuff done that I've been trying to get done and move myself forward. I'm just feeling more accomplished, even if they are more on the end of like baby steps to the bigger things I'm trying to do, which is so cool. Sierra Reed, she was on my episode Stagnation and Releasing. We were, as you can tell by me doing that, my brain is so foggy. Even though I am getting my goals completed, which I'm so grateful for and I'm so happy about, my brain has been so foggy for the past few days. And I don't know if it's because there were some things I switched up in my routine, or maybe I fell off a little bit this past Wednesday. I don't know. It's just it has me a little bit like not clear, but at the same time, like I'm cruising. I'm cruising in between it because I'm talking about it. I'm labeling my feelings. I'm figuring it out as I'm going, and as hard as it is, as hard as it is to just release sometimes, especially when I'm the one who's causing the stir up. But in more, in several points of view that I've learned, it's more so, give yourself that time that you need. And if you're doing something and it makes you feel different than how you felt before when you did it, then maybe it's the time to let it go. And that's where I'm at on a couple things. Letting go of some things, letting go of things that I'm used to and that I've been ready to let go for a while, but also at the same time, my ego is scared to let it go, which has been popping up a little bit more lately. I can definitely see myself trying to, escape, not escape, but I am ready to transform into the next version of myself, and as I am doing that and I'm outgrowing my old self, I can feel parts of me that are trying to run back because it's scared, it's worried, it's not used to this. It wants to go back to feeling what it is used to. But now is a time to be upgrading, and now is a time to let go of what we're used to and open ourselves up for what is new. And wow, like just hearing that and hearing my own words, it brings me a sense of peace, because this entire time for the last few days, it's been more so like I'm running around without a head on my body, and it can be so, obviously I'm not like it, my mind is clouded, and I'm trying to clear out those clouds, clear out that's not stagnation, no, but I'm trying to clear out all of this haze and grogginess and what's keeping me from seeing what it is that I'm trying to put out, because I'm finding myself to be going in circles, and we all know how much I do not like that. But because I'm going through it, it's so important to really pay attention to how I am repeating these little cycles that I have, and notice how I can break them. And I know how I can break them. I know it just takes changing my mind, and that can be difficult. Really, it really can be difficult trying to break these cycles that I have. Being human and embracing this experience. It's like what we had this past Wednesday when Wednesday's episode came out. Being fired up, being so happy, being so excited, and I can do one random thing or spend a day different than how I first planned it, and that can throw me off, which is how I learn how to make better decisions in the future. I was just talking about how, if I want to be making a positive impact into my life, and if I want to be making, decisions that are going to lead to positive outcomes, at least the positive outcomes, at least the decisions that I can control and the things that I'm doing, I can continue to do that. Obviously, life is going to come in the way and throw me off the wave to keep me in check for sure. And this is a time right now, what I'm feeling, it's just this cloudiness. I'm trying to find ways to break out of it and not relax and not use it as a time to just release and flow and just allow the ideas to come into me. Instead, I'm trying to combat it, and I'm just like, no, I can't just sit around and do nothing. I can't. And I swear, I was just talking about how I take it so seriously. I was just talking to Sierra about this. There's this analogy that I heard from an episode from Midnight Gospel, and one of the people on Clancy's podcast was talking about how Buddha is looking down at someone as they're trying to meditate, how they're trying to like do all this stuff to be so spiritually awakened. And Buddha's just looking down at the guy and saying, dude, you're grinding in World of Warcraft. Take a break. Go drink some water. Chill out. And I've been using that analogy with what I've been going through in this time during these last few days. I'm like, I am trying to be like this video game character that's so leveled up. And I forget that I'm supposed to just be experiencing and chilling and doing what I gotta do. And if that means I have to be laying around a little bit more, then yeah, I should definitely be doing that. And there's times where, like using my vices and, falling into my medicine. And, I pick myself apart. Criticism, I'm all about, if you have something, you either have something positive to say or something constructive to say. But our brains, the biggest critic of them all, has a way of getting in my head and just telling me, nah, man, everything you're doing right now, you're trying to relax. You don't have time to relax. All you have time for is for putting stuff out, creating, doing this. And I beat myself up a lot, which is so crazy. I feel like I feel like we I feel like we really need to bask in that place where we can just flow, as I discussed before. And whether that is, having to take medication or going out and meditating, I don't meditate every day, and I've been trying to meditate every day. I meditated this morning because I missed yesterday, and I missed, I think, Tuesday. So I did it Monday, I did it Wednesday, and I did it today. And then I have to do it tomorrow and Sunday because I want to be able to keep it going. And the more I do it and the more I'm consistent with it, the more I can battle through these kind of times, because that's what I've been reading a lot about. The more that we take the time out to silence ourselves, to listen from within and really get ourselves out there. Not in the way that we get ourselves out there physically, but actually I'm going to try to switch it around more in a way when we're finally able to take ourselves out of our minds and be able to just relax and remember that everything we're doing is going at the exact speed at the right time. And if we feel like we are not putting in enough effort, we can add more effort and we can try more. We can try harder. And I beat myself down on those kind of situations because, I'm trying to enjoy my life and do what I got to do and enjoy what I'm doing. And if I miss one day, I shouldn't be beating down on myself. I should be giving myself that day. If I'm tired, I should let myself rest. And I think I'm not realizing that. I think I am putting so much emphasis of the outside world onto my interior life. And what I'm supposed to be doing is just taking in what I'm experiencing, putting it out in the ways that I'm learning, and giving it out to the people that I feel necessary to give it to. Or, even just putting it out on a platform. What I find, very, in a best term I can think of is, finding what is good info that I feel necessary to keep a part of my life, which I can then give to other people. And then not only do I have the knowledge, but I can give the knowledge as well. And I think because I'm falling into traps, or not even just traps, because I'm falling into what was comfortable for me before and having to build these boundaries for myself so then I can get out of it and I can build healthy habits to where energy isn't being depleted in things that it shouldn't be depleted on, or it shouldn't be used on, in a better way to say it. I talk about my use of marijuana quite a bit on here, and I'll definitely say I have to control that. As much as, there's so many ways to control that. To be able to give myself intentional reasons why to be using, or write down notes on when I can and when I cannot. That's what I did. I did today. I was like, you know what? This is what we're going to do. To keep us having a healthy habit with this, what we are going to do is we're going to put a post-it note here, here, and here with these sayings, and then that's going to hold me accountable to where I can only use it at a certain time when I do not have either something to do, or I'm not working in a day, or, anything that could potentially lead to me possibly wanting to use. Instead, I can see the note and I can just say, you know what? I learned from this, and I'm learning from this for a reason. I'm going to control this a little bit more. It's just the responsible thing to do. And I like to have fun, and I like to be able to, throw it all out the door sometimes. But I think I've done that so much in the past that I never really learned the lesson, which is why these cycles just keep, and my friends can give me ideas like, oh, why don't you just, write down the terpenes? Why don't you get to know, and I'm like, I do that. And I'm happy to continue doing that. But at the same time, I'm not someone who needs it all day. I'm not someone who needs to have a specific thing all the time. I just need, you know what I need? I need something that's going to remind me that I can flow, take myself out of all the stress, and take myself away from freaking out over something I have to do or haven't done, and yada yada. Because I find like I've discussed before, we don't always constantly have to be doing something that has been put onto us because of society and what we have been born into and what we have learned along the time of our childhood. And as a person who finds that perfectionism being, mixed in with my productivity, that is where I lead to a lot of my toxic traits when it comes to that. If I'm sitting down, or if I'm not doing something that is accruing any sort of like creativity, or you know any sort of dopamine, obviously it's the molecule of more. If I'm not doing something that's giving me that, and then I'm not feeling productive, then it's just going to lead to a downward spiral. And that's what I'm trying to get myself out of right now. I'm trying to get out of that spiral. I'm trying to get out of that toxic trait where if I'm not producing, I'm not productive, or if I'm not producing, I'm not successful. If I'm not producing, that is the issue. And that is the reoccurring issue. I am producing at the speed that I need, and I'm trusting myself. That is the number one phrase that keeps on going on in my head, especially within the last few days. Keep trusting yourself. I tell everyone to trust yourself. I tell everyone to trust your heart, trust your gut. Not trust your heart. More of the time, trust your gut, because your intuition is going to be the one that tells you where you're going, where you're supposed to go, and if you're on the right path. And every single time I'm going through this moment where I'm criticizing myself, or I'm saying I got to do this, I can't do this, I have to put this first, or if I'm not doing something that I need to do, and I'm taking my time with it, that my brain will come in and say, you're not working hard enough, you're not working fast enough, you're not putting in enough effort. And half the time, I'm putting in more than enough effort already, but because of my brain being on opposite sides of me sometimes, it leads me to being in that spiral where I'm not producing and I'm beating on myself, when I could just be flowing and just allow the inspiration to come to me, and to continue to seek the inspiration, continue to seek the knowledge that I can learn. And I think that's where I'm making the mistakes. I think that's where I am finding myself to be, not taking care of myself. I'm taking care of myself in other ways, but it's like the tripod. It's like taking care, I have to take care of myself spiritually, mentally, physically. I have to make sure I'm eating the right foods within the last few days. I haven't been eating the best. I take note on what I'm doing and paying attention to what I'm doing, and that is how I know that I am leading into a period where I may be a little bit at a lower vibration. It's very important to keep track of these things, because if we don't, we're just going to keep wondering why we are feeling so weird or so bad compared to days before. And it's not going to be easy, obviously, especially with how life comes in and life changes up and throws you in for a whirlwind, and then you'll have to be revitalized, or you have to pull yourself out of the mud to be able to get yourself to a place where you're just flowing again. Because that's what it's really like. It's like this constant state of, are we going to keep ourselves out of flow, or are we just going to release? And my cloudiness is gone. So for those who are still wondering about that episode with Sierra and haven't looked, it is releasing and allowing stagnation. I don't know why I had a brain fart, but that's what I like about my brain at times too, is that it can come back and remember things at a later date. What's up, guys? Wanted to take a quick moment and invite you to leave a comment on today's episode. Tell me something about yourself, or tell me something about today's episode that you enjoyed. Peace. Time. So I will be leaving that episode in the description for you guys to check out. I'm going to do my damn hardest job at trying to stay true to the boundaries that I'm placing for myself, because boundaries are important, and being able to stay true to our boundaries, protect ourselves not only from the people around us who may not have the best intentions, but also protecting ourselves from ourselves, because we are just as much, if not more, likely to take ourselves off our own path, allow our own toxic traits to come in and throw us around. And maybe what I'm going through isn't even a toxic trait, but that's what my brain is attaching to it. But at the same time, I know that these are things that I want to work on. So even if it's not toxic, it's something I want to work on, because building a boundary for myself that could lead me to a healthier lifestyle and to live a better lifestyle is really what I'm constantly trying to, reinvent myself. I'm constantly trying to find a way that I can live my life the most healthy, most positive, optimistic, all of that. It's because I want to spread the love, spread the kindness. I want to be able to take care of myself. I want to be able to break these cycles, even though that there will be times in my life where I'm just going to fall back down on them. But that's what's beautiful about it. And these are the things that I realize when I come to, consciousness with these specific boundaries that I'm trying to place, but they're not all the way stuck like glue yet. It's more so they are being built, but they have to gradually be worked on to have that extra maintenance. And I'm staying true to it, and that's what's important. Is I'm not giving up. And I think I have left that point where in the past I may have given up, and I may have just said, you know what, I'm just not going to deal with it right now. But avoiding what we're feeling, avoiding our emotions, avoiding those moments where where it's really important to give ourselves that attention that we need. That is the kind of work that will get us to a higher level. And that's the kind of work that will stop us from, causing these cycles to reoccur and to continue. Even with this cloudiness that's going on in my mind, even with what may be going on in my head, and still getting up and still trying and still putting in that effort, no matter if it's perfect or not, no matter if I'm perfect or not. Which is so important to remember and to keep within me, because I'm not perfect. I'm going to continue to mess up in ways that it may throw me off. I'm going to continue to try my best to please the gods, please the universe, and continue down this path of love and kindness and spread this positive, optimistic energy. I'm just getting up here and just speaking and letting it out, it gives me this peace and serenity as if it was what I had to do the entire time. And that's what's awesome. Being able to let go, because I couldn't let go before, and I have. I am finally letting go, and I think it's because I'm happy with myself. I think I'm definitely happy with myself today. I was happy with myself yesterday, but I wasn't happy enough. Today, I got a lot of stuff done, but that's not because why I'm happy with myself. I made a promise to myself, and I told myself I was going to get certain things done, get certain things ready. I started the day for me, got to do something for myself, gave myself a little bit more love today, and I think that's why I'm really happy with myself. And instead of running away, instead of being afraid, instead of giving myself so many excuses, because I don't like excuses. I don't like making excuses on why I can't do something or why something can't be done. Unless it is 100% valid and I am 100% not able to do something, or 100% not able to do something, that is when, that is the only time. But I had moments today where I was going to give myself excuses, and I said, no, I cannot. I cannot give myself an excuse to push something back. I cannot give myself an excuse to not get something done. I made myself a promise, and I made that promise stay. And I made it come true. I held to it, held my promise, and I didn't give up on it. And that's what I'm trying to say. And I'm just grateful that I did not give up on it. And I'm grateful that I kept my promise to myself, and I still got things done. I still have a couple of things to do, but I still put in the effort. And that's why I feel so good. And that's why I think that is something that pulls me out of these little cycles. Is in those cycles I may feel like I haven't, showed up for myself as I should have. And I think that clouds my mind. That makes me let go of all the good things I did for myself, or all the good things I did in the day. But because I may have messed up on one certain thing on a whole other different day, that can hold me down. And that can make me think that I'm not doing enough, or I'm not keeping up with myself, or I'm not keeping my promises to myself. But really, it's like what I said earlier. Some days I need a little bit more for myself, give myself a little bit more love, and then I can come back the next day with full force. And that's actually, I think that's how I was able to push so much, is because I was seeing what I was doing, and I loved what I was doing. And that is why I kept on. And even when there's certain things happening in the outside, that's coming in saying, causing more stress, let's say that, or added stress that's not needed, I can just remember that those are the waves that come in to knock me off the surfboard, and it's my job to get right back up on that surfboard and wait for the wave to pull me back up. I love the analogy of life being like waves. You'll be at the top of the wave, living life, having a great time, and then the wave crashes and you fall off. And you need those moments to be picked back up by another wave, to be shown how good it's going to be right after. And I love that. It makes me feel that even when I may not be producing at the level that I want to be, or even if I'm not putting in or have the energy like I want to have, giving myself baby steps to take, giving myself that love that I need. Because there's going to be times where I'm not being my best. And holding that over my head and holding that over me as a weight isn't going to help me in my growth. That's actually just going to lead me to continue to repeat my cycles. And I don't need that. And neither do the people that are around me, because if I'm repeating cycles and I'm taking the anger out of myself, that's only going to cause me to project that out to the people around me, or they're going to be hearing a lot about it. And there's nothing wrong with friends hearing you and needing to hear you, or you needing them to talk to you and stuff like that. As I said before, having that communication with your friends, you never know. Your friend might be able to help you. And Emma helped me today. A lot of my friends help me on a daily basis when it comes to, especially the subject on being critical to yourself. Emma's one of the biggest things Emma always says is your brain's always going to be your biggest critic. So it's either you're going to fight through it or you're going to let it win. And it's, as I've said before, most wars that we fight are the ones inside of our own mind. Are we really going to let our brain take it over, or are we going to reinvent how we talk to ourselves and how we see the world from within? Because that's where it all starts. How you see the world and the reality in front of you, it all starts from within your own mind. How do you talk to yourself? How do you see life? It's like in my most recent episode on Wednesday. Life happens for us, not to us. And as much as I even put that out for people to hear it, I needed to hear it. When I made that, when I was feeling what I was feeling in that, it's like a reminder. It's a reminder all the time for us to just remember to settle down, give ourselves that extra bit of love that we need, especially on days when we don't feel it the most that we need. That's what's really important. And we give ourselves time limits, schedules, organization, and stuff like that, to better and help us. Because one of the favorite sayings on here is help yourself, help yourself. What do you need to do? What can you do that will make the future steps you need to take a little bit easier for you to accomplish the goal you have? And that is, with certain things that are happening in your week or in your day, what can you do actively to set aside a little bit more time so you don't have to stress about it in the future, or handle something then in the moment if you have the time, so then you don't have to worry about it at a later time. Growing up, I was a procrastinator, and and it led into my early adult life. And coming to terms with my procrastination and learning from it and getting to a point where I can actually control it, to where I understand what I'm doing and how I can stop that procrastination at its base. And then just take over and just complete what I need to complete. I read something about ADHD not too long ago, and one of my favorite things I read from, it was for ADHD brains, when it comes to time, there's only two levels of time, and that is right now and not now. So what can I do right now at this very moment, which ends up clouding your mind so much, because you'll have this you got to do, this you got to do, this you got to do, this is what you got to do. Which is why organization is so important, especially in my life, because if that's how my brain works with what can I do right now with the time I have, I'll be sitting on the couch on a day off and I'll be thinking, what can I do right now, when it's not even not even a day where I have to do something. It's just having this it is kind of like what Alan Watts and Ram Dass says, the inevitable now. It's always the present moment. But because my brain is thinking about what I got to do in the future, I can't be present. So regulating that and learning to regulate it, it's a struggle, but especially when I'm on my routine, getting stuff done on a consistent basis, and I'm feeling good about what I'm putting out and what I'm doing, there is that regulation's there. My brain's constantly working, and I think I'm starting to pick up on those. So when I'm able to sit down and I'm able to shoot a podcast, or when I can sit down and I can add some ideas to my painting, when I can sit down and write something, that is when I'm in that flow state. When I'm a generator. I'm someone who has to be generating my energy and what it is I have within me to be able to, help people around me and to motivate and inspire. So when I think about what I'm doing and I love what I'm doing, that is when that can be grown out to the people around me. And that's why I really like to be in that space. That's why I really like to be in that, you know, that workspace where I am able to generate content or generate art and energy for others around me, not only myself. That makes me feel so good. It makes me feel like I am, adding to my purpose, giving out more energy as I need, because it's also producing energy for me as well. Instead of just continuing to repeat cycles and not do anything at all and just lead me to be, wrapped up in my own thoughts. And I've been writing down a lot of post-it notes. I am not my thoughts. I'm the one experiencing them. That's a huge thing for me. I believe I've talked about it before, but if not, it can really drain your energy when you got so much going on in your head. It can just leave you paralyzed. And being able to, that's why I love meditation. That's why I talk about it so much, because especially on this most recent episode on Wednesday, you got to go back and listen to it. Quiet your mind, because if you have a hard time quieting your mind, when you finally master that and you're able to just release that, that's what I think about now is think about how much I have put in the effort to release all this control, all of this worry, all of this doubt, all of this stress. And I'm giving it up, and it finds a way back in because of the way that I choose to go about days. But it's because it's a part of life, and I'm enjoying it just like every single one of us that's on this planet. I'm just experiencing it from my own point of view. And I love that. And, this may be a time where I'm a bit more confused and a bit more, clouded in my mind. Not clouded judgment wise, but more clouded, I'm just feeling a bit different than normal. And that's okay. And I can give myself that time. And I can give myself a little bit of, I can give myself a pat on the back for even trying. That's what I can definitely do. Because even when I don't have someone there to give me that affirmation or, give me that time to help me out in my own brain, I have to remember that, there's not always going to be someone there. There's not always going to be someone there that can actually pick up the phone or, pick up or be busy. A lot of, like me and my friends included, are all busy doing our own thing, going through life, learning and constantly growing and evolving at the same time. So having to learn this, it can be so, it can be draining. But choosing to continue trying, even if it's not the best work, even if it's not the best of the best, you're still trying. And it's still going into you. There was an excellent thing I saw today. I'm constantly working on myself, even if it's just 1%. That 1% I'm doing is going to lead to even more work being done, work being put in, and me growing. Even if it's one step at a time. I love the analogy Sierra used when she and I spoke on our episode, baby steps. Because especially if if you are neurodivergent and you have a hard time being able to piece things together at times, or you have a hard time being able to complete big goals because it can overwhelm you, taking baby steps, even if it's something small, just do it, because that will be able to tell you that you are gaining confidence in yourself for completing things. Doesn't matter how it's viewed, doesn't matter how it's seen, as long as you're putting your effort out there, that's all that matters, because your effort and the love you're putting into it is what's going to be seen. That's what matters. And, you know, I can't say that I have full and complete understanding all the time of what I'm feeling, but because I'm taking the active effort to learn more about myself and be proactive in quieting my mind and opening myself up to being able to just flow rather than beating myself up because I'm not doing something that I feel like I need to be doing, when maybe what I really need to do is cruise, turn on some nice vibey music, and just relax. And with that, I want to leave you guys off on something. Don't forget to just be kind to yourself. Even in these moments where you have no idea what's going on in your life, you have no idea what's going on in your brain, just keep taking one step at a time. Doesn't matter how it looks, you're still trying, and because you're actively trying to better yourself, grow, or, even if you're just trying to cruise on past, I'm right there with you. This is, it's a beautiful day here. It's in the 60s. We got the most heat we've had in a week, and I'm just very grateful for that, and I'm very grateful for the incredible people in my life that, support me and make me feel loved, especially when I'm over 1,000 miles away and I can't see them. At least it makes me feel so happy and grateful that I'm surrounded by amazing people. And please leave a comment on today's episode. Talk to me a little bit more. Tell me what you're feeling. Tell me how you get through these moments where you feel like you're repeating cycles and you just want to let it all go, or say you're trying to hold a promise to yourself. Tell me what you promised yourself. Tell me what goals you have for this week. I love to get to know you guys. I want to get to know more of you. I want this community to grow bigger. And if you have any advice for me, feel free. I'd love to read. I love to hear what you have to say. But with that, I hope you all have a wonderful morning, a wonderful afternoon, a wonderful evening, and a wonderful night.